is, for example, if your name is Rahul, then you have to keep your name like this, Rahul. Then ALM means you are alumni at BLR, whatever is your branch. If it is Hyderabad, if it is Bangalore, Gulbarga, Bidar, Raipur, Nagpur, any branch it is, you can mention the branch code here. Right. All of you join your hands. Close your eyes. Wherever you are, just settle down. Sit properly. Very good. Close your eyes and first of all, take the deep breath. Take the deep breath and chant Swaminarayan Mahamantra. Yes, for 2 minutes, we have to calm down our mind, settle down and take long breath and chant Swaminarayan Mahamantra. Keep chanting Swaminarayan Mahamantra. Very good. Some devotees are doing really well. They all will get the divine benefits of it. Now, imagine the Murti of God, Bhagavan Sri Swaminarayan, at your heart. Visualize the divine image of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. Wherever you had darshan, if you have taken darshan in prayer hall, then remember that Murti of Ghanshyam Maharaj. How is that Murti of God? Imagine, visualize within your heart. Yes. This is the simple practice of meditation. Whenever you get tensed, tension, stress, you can practice this simple meditation. Imagine the Murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. Imagine there is a divine glow flowing from the divine forehead of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. Such a large eyes are filled with full of mercy and love for all of us. Blinking the eyes, and with each and every blink of the eyes, Bhagavan Swaminarayan is showering his divine grace on us. Bhagavan Swaminarayan is smiling at you, showering his love and blessings on us. Keep visualizing and keep chanting Swaminarayan Mahamantra. Very good. Now look at the divine Murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan and let us pray and praise Bhagavan Swaminarayan with Sri Vasudev Shloka. Shri Vasudeva Vimalamruta Dhama Vasam Narayanam Narakataran Namadheyam Shyamam Sitam Dvibhujameva Chaturbhujam Cha Tvam Bhakti Dharmatanayam Sharanam Prapadye. Sahajananda Swami Maharaj ki jai. Ghanshyam Maharaj ki jai. Swaminarayan Bhagavan ki jai. Jai Swaminarayan, all the devotees present in today's satsang. Welcome to Suresh brother, joining first time, evening satsang, welcome. Also, many of our Gurukul alumni have joined today's evening satsang. Those who are our Gurukul ex-students, can you rename yourself like this? You can keep your name first, then use this code ALM, and from whichever branch you belong, you can keep the code of your branch. Thank you very much. Dear devotees, today's our topic is very much relevant to Kali Yuga especially. Many times, many devotees, many students, they ask this question, Swamiji, is there a shortcut to reach God faster? Because nowadays we are unable to follow this, not to eat outside food and perform all these spiritual practices every day. For us, it is very difficult to follow. Because in Gurukul, atmosphere supports us. But when we go away from Gurukul, atmosphere doesn't support us. Isn't it? So, is there any shortcut that if we do that, if we follow these selected few practices, so that we can reach to God faster? Is there any shortcuts? Yes, dear devotees, there are 3 shortcuts today we are going to discuss. And let us start. Before that, we need to understand the mindset of shortcut, right? What do we mean by shortcut? Yesterday we all witnessed the Chandrayaan 3 landed on the land of moon, right? So if I ask the question that what is the shortcut to land on the moon, to reach moon, what is the shortcut? So what could be your answer? What is the shortcut to reach moon? If you think thoroughly, you can understand that there is no actually shortcut, there is a short way. No. From earth to moon, if you want to travel, there is a same distance. So question should not be about shortcut, question should be about the speed. Actually, in our life, there is no shortcut. Because always pursuing the shortcut actually makes us short. There is no shortcut. There is a speed. Right? So, in our life, there is no shortcut, there is only speed. So, we have to think about the speed, that what are the practices if we follow, then with speed, quickly we can reach to God. So, what are those practices? And what are those fastest ways to reach God? So, today we are going to explore with different charitras of God. Dear devotees, once upon a time, there was a hot summer in Gujarat, and a group of saints of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, they were traveling from one village to another village, and it was that time there was no any transportation facilities. Either they can go by horse, or either they can go by bullock cart, or they can go by walk. So this group of saints, Brahmanand Swamiji was the elder saint in this group, and another 2-3 saints were there. So these saints, group of saints, were passing through the farms of Gujarat region. It was a hot summer and afternoon time. So saints were very hungry, and previously saints used to go for the bhiksha, right? Bhiksham dehi. Likewise, they used to get the food and they used to have the food, right? Not like now. That now, in Gurukul or in temple, now there is no any question about eating or bhiksha. Everything is coming by itself. But previously, our saints have, passed through such difficult times that for few days they were not even able to eat anything. They were not getting anything in bhiksha. So saints were so hungry, and it was afternoon time, hot summer. They need to have water also. So meanwhile, they were passing through the farm. They saw that in the farm there was one young boy. He was working in the field. So Brahmanand Swami, he said to one devotee, actually some devotees also were there with Brahmanand Swami, and his name was Surakhachar. They also were not having any food. All were hungry. So Brahmanand Swami said that let us check in this farm if anybody is there. So Surakhachar went to the farm, and there was one young boy working in the field, and Surakhachar told him that this is afternoon time if you have any food, if you have any bhiksha for the saints, then our saints are waiting over there. So is there any food with you? So this boy, he turned towards the saints. He saw that some saints are, standing in the sunlight, afternoon, hot summer, and they are hungry. So this boy was having actually 2-3 rotla. Rotla in Gujarati, we say rotla. Such a big, little thicker than chapati, right? Bajrana rotla. So this boy was having around 2-3 bajrana rotla for himself. But when he saw these saints, and by seeing Brahmanand Swami and other saints, this boy felt very much happy and felt the peace in his mind that no, such kind of saints I never saw. Till now I have seen saints, those who are, so much addicted, and they are asking for money, they are asking for food, and they are demanding. And if we don't give, then they will trouble us. But these saints are little different. So he said, of course, I can give this meal, afternoon meal to these saints. So immediately this boy, he came to Brahmanand Swami and he offered the afternoon meal to Brahmanand Swami. And he said that, oh Maharaj, please have this afternoon meal and have this from my side. So Brahmanand Swami and saint, they had this diksha, and they offered to God, and afterwards they performed Mansi Puja, and they had that meal, that prasad in afternoon. Actually, that boy, he gave the food of himself to Swamiji. He didn't eat that day. That was his seva to Brahmanand Swami and the saints. So Brahmanand Swami pleased on that boy too much and said that today you have satisfied the hunger of the saints. So you ask something, whatever you ask, we will pray to God and you will get it. So this boy actually, while walking along with Surakachar told him that, see, if Swamiji wants you to ask anything, don't ask anything, don't ask worldly things. Ask Swamiji whatever you like, that you can give to me. So this young boy, he said that, oh Maharaj, actually you are happy, you are satisfied with the food, that's enough for me. I don't want anything than this. But if you want to give me something, then whatever is your favorite, whatever you like too much, you can give that to me. And dear devotees, what does saints like? Too much? What does saints like too much? Can you write in the chat box? What does saints like too much? Devotion, bhakti, perfect. Rakshit bhai. Nitesh bhai, yes, bhakti, God, service towards God, bhajan, God, mala, purity, peace and devotion. Yes, you all are absolutely right. Saints are not interested in materialistic things, right? They like God and their devotion, their service. So Brahmanand Swami pleased on this young boy. Brahmanand Swami said that, see, you have served the saints of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. Now, at the end of your life, God will come to take you to Akshardham. Till then, you have to remember this incident. So this boy said that, Swamiji, I am very much forgetful. I don't remember this. How can I remember Bhagavan Swaminarayan and how can I remember you? Brahmanand Swami said, how will you remember us? Brahmanand Swami was little fat. Swamiji was having a little bigger belly. So Brahmanand Swami said simply that, okay, you do one thing. You just remember my belly. Right? You remember my belly, and with this, you will remember this incident, you will remember this seva, and you will remember Bhagavan Swaminarayan. And afterwards, Bhagavan Swaminarayan will look after you. And dear devotees, at the end of his life, Bhagavan Swaminarayan came by having these 2 rotlas. These 2 rotas he has given to Brahmanand Swami. With those 2 rotas in the hand, Bhagavan Swaminarayan came at last moment of his life, and Bhagavan Swaminarayan took him to Akshardham. So That boy, actually, he did not perform so much of devotion. He just did seva just once in his life. But even though he got Akshardham, what is the reason? What is the shortcut you understand from this charitra? Come on, write in the chat box. What is the shortcut you understand from this charitra? What that boy has done, that he got Akshardham. In short, service towards saints of God, okay, help, seva. Yes, come on. Nishkam seva, Gaurav, congratulations. True faith, Niswarth seva, very good. Seva to devotees of God is service to God. That's correct, Jagannath sir. Seva at critical time. Seva, service to mankind is service to God. Seva, service to people is service to God. Arpan to God, given food to hunger. Right, dear devotees, let me clarify now. He didn't get Akshardham because he has done seva. Now listen very carefully, because this concept is clear in everyone's mind. Nishkam seva, honest seva, but that one point is mattering too much. And which is that? That one point is timely seva. What is that? Timely seva. Sometimes you do seva, that's okay, that's good. When you do seva, nishkam seva, niswarth seva, selfless seva, that is absolutely right and that is good. But timely seva is the magical seva, dear devotees. When there is a need of seva and we do that seva, that will change our entire destiny. In last satsang also, we narrated the story of Bahuddin, Bawla, small brother, when saints were passing through the jungle of Girnar and Krupanand Swami got freezed by the cold water of river. That time one small child, Bawla, he offered the woods and Gunatitanand Swami pleased on him. That timely seva has changed the complete destiny of that Bawla, and that Bawla became Bahuddin. He became Prime Minister of Junagadh. Today also his college is there. Bahuddin College is there in Junagadh. I had visited when I was studying in Gurukul, Junagadh. So today also still that exists. What does it mean? It's not only seva. It's not only selfless seva. It is timely seva. Dear devotees, one more incident, and it is not about human being. Once upon a time, Sadguru Nityanand Swami, Swamiji fell sick in Amba village in Gujarat. Nityanand Swami is the great scholar. At the time of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Nityanand Swami was the topmost scholar in India, and people used to say that he is the incarnation of knowledge, something like that. People were having that impression, Nityanand Swami. So once Nityanand Swami fell sick at Amba village, so doctor came. He took he saw the pulses of Nityanand Swami, and he said that Swamiji, your body is sick and the medicine is God's milk. If you have God's milk, then this disease can be cured. So now it was the evening time, night time, where to get the goat and where to get the milk of goat. So somebody said that Swamiji, at the end of this village, there is a shepherd region. There we can get the goat's milk. So some devotees went over there, and in the house of shepherd, there were so many goats, and they got one goat's milk. And that Nityanand Swami had that milk. And Nityanand Swami got cured. And do you know what happened afterwards? Bhagwan Swaminarayan took that goat to Akshardham. This is not about human being. When anything or any human being or any animal, any bird, any tree comes in the seva of God and his true devotees and saints, then that seva becomes shortcut to the salvation, shortcut to reach God. In that village, there was a devotee. His name was Devshi Bhagat. He was sleeping in the night, and all of a sudden he started to hear the music of, some drums, some sitar and such kind of music. He woke up. He saw that what is there? He saw in the sky that number of, divine Viman, planes, flights were there. And in such a center, there was a big flight. In that, Bhagwan Swaminarayan was seated in a divine form. So Devshi Bhagat stood up and he prayed to Maharaj that, oh Maharaj, where are you? And why you are here? Then Bhagwan Swaminarayan said that, Devshi Bhagat, today I am taking the soul of that goat to Akshardham. Devshi Bhagat surprised. Which goat, Maharaj? That goat whose milk was used for my Nityanand Swami. So that goat also got the salvation. Even that was animal. It was not human being. It was animal. But see the power of timely seva. When Nityanand Swami was sick, and when Nityanand Swami was in need of medicine, milk of God, and when he got the milk of that God, God got the salvation. So what is the point here? The first shortcut to reach God is timely seva. Now my question to all of you is, how can you do timely seva? You have to write 3 seva in the chat box. Now we will think practically, right? We will not just listen charitra. We need to think practically. In your life, you have to think on this question, that how can I do timely seva of God and saints? Right? Come on, write in the chat box what seva you can do to God and saints. Here, one thing I would like to clarify, some devotee has written here that service to people is service to God, service to mankind is service to God. It is not absolutely right, absolutely true. Because when we do service of general people, we get punya and we go to heaven. But we don't go to Akshardham. To go to Akshardham, we need to do seva of God and saints. God and his true devotees. Right? Yes. Principal sir from NTPC writing that. Timely help the needy, pray the God in time. Very good, sir. If someone in trouble, help them. Good. Service to needy people. When they need, we will do seva. Right? Good. So, dear devotees, the point here to think on this question is that we should be aware that where is the need of seva at this time. We should be aware of it. I remember, I think he may be in this meeting also. There is one ex-student of Gurukul, Hyderabad. He is not so good in his career. He is not earning so good money. But every time, whenever, for example, there is a Parna of Swamiji, suppose these Chaturma saints were doing tapasya, Chandra and Dharana Parna, this vrat. So when saints were about to have Parna, so without fail, that Gurukul student, that devotee, he is giving saint rasoi. When Elder Swamiji comes to Hyderabad, he will never forget to come for the rasoi and darshan of Elder Swamiji. So that is called timely seva. And for doing timely seva, we don't need big status. We don't need big status to do seva. We need ordinary status with devotional heart. When we have that devotional heart that no, I want to do some seva of devotees of God or saints, so definitely we will, or you can ask to Swamiji also that Swamiji, if I want to do seva, is there any seva? Please let me know. I want to do seva. So this is how we can do timely seva, and timely seva is the magical seva, dear devotees, magical seva. Now second shortcut. You know this story, right? In Ramayana, Jatayu fought with Ravan to protect Sitaji. Actually, Jatayu was not powerful enough to defeat Ravan, isn't it? Ravan was so much powerful. Jatayu was not that much powerful. But even though Jatayu decided that no, when someone is in need, then I must do whatever I can. And that's how Jatayu has protected Sitaji. Anyways, Ravan has cut off the wing of Jatayu and Jatayu fell down. But with this, what happened? He met Bhagwan Ram himself. And most fortunately, Jatayu died in the lap of Bhagwan Ram. How fortunate he would be. At the last moment of his life, who is in front of him? God himself. So in the lap of Bhagwan Ram, Jatayu died. And Jatayu went to the Vaikuntha in the service of Bhagwan Ram, because in time he has fought to protect Sitaji. Right? So in this charitra, in this story, what is the shortcut? What is that shortcut? Shortcut is this: fight and favor for the true saints, true devotees of God. When you fight for them, when you favor for them, that becomes a shortcut. One more powerful charitra I will say. Dear devotees, in Gujarat, saints of Bhagwan Swaminarayan were traveling. So since 3 days, they didn't get any bhiksha, any food. Since 3 days, they were having fast. After 3 days, they reached one village, Gundadi. So in Gundadi, there was only one family who was Satsang, and they were following Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And that was a female devotee, Rande Bai. So anyways, saints cannot interact directly to the woman. So this Rande Bai has given this raw grocery to the saints through some other people. And the saints were preparing parna. They were cooking the khichdi. You know khichdi is a Gujarati item. And those who are studying in Gurukul, they know what is khichdi. So saints were cooking khichdi and they were performing puja. Meanwhile, in that village, many hateful villagers, they were hating Swaminarayan saints, because Swaminarayan saints were such pure that people were getting attracted towards them. And when people start following Swaminarayan saints, then they will stop following other people, other Babajis. So they were so much jealous. So hateful villagers, they came where saints were there and they started to beat saints, and they also broke that khichdi vessels in which they were cooking the khichdi. They also broke it and completely they mashed up the food and cooking. And they kicked out these saints from the village. Dear devotees, now the life of saints are, very much desirable, happy, peaceful. But 200 years back, the life of Swaminarayan saints were too much full of trouble. And out of those all troubles and sacrifices, today Swaminarayan Sampradaya is standing very strongly. And today Swaminarayan Sampradaya is the most fast growing Sampradaya. So these saints were kicked out from the village, and afterwards, anyway, saints did not react, because saints were having the command of Bhagwan Swaminarayan that one who is beating you, one who is hating you, you should not hate in return. You should not beat them in return. Instead, you should think for their welfare. That was the highest standard of these Swaminarayan saints. So saints were chanting Swaminarayan, Swaminarayan. When these villagers were beating them, they were chanting Swaminarayan, 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 and they went off from the village. In the evening, two sons of this Rande Bai, Meraman and Mamayo, these two brothers, they returned home from the field. They were working on the field. Evening they came. As they came inside the house, their mother was crying. She was crying too much. She thought that since 3 days saints were hungry, were having fasting, and I couldn't do any seva of these saints. I have given grocery, I have given this all, but saints couldn't do that. These two sons, Meraman and Mamayo, said that, Mother, why are you crying? What happened exactly? Mother said that our village chief, his son, along with other villagers, they all came, they broke the vessels of khichdi, and they kicked out these saints by beating them like animals. By listening this, these two were the young people, Meraman and Mamayo. They rose for the revenge. They rose of revenge for the saints. They decided that no, for my mother's saints, how they can do like this? What they have done bad for these villagers? And out of the emotion, what they were having, what attachment they were having for the saints, this Meraman and Mamayo, they took the sword and they immediately reached to the village forum. In the village there will be chora, a common place where everybody will gather and will be sitting and talking. There these two brothers went and they said that, who kicked out the saints of Bhagwan Swaminarayan? So the son of this village chief also was there, and he was actually consuming hoka. He said that, I did that, I beat them and I kicked them out. At the very moment they took the sword, these two brothers, and they cut off the head of that son. And all villagers, they felt, oh my God, what this happened? They all also pulled their swords and they started fighting with these two brothers. Dear devotees, now these two brothers, in front of them there are 50-60 villagers. They are fighting, do or die fight with the wickets. Can you imagine that bravery, that valor? What would be the driving emotion behind this fight? Were saints their relatives, their parents? Why these two brothers are fighting with these many people? And afterwards, they got too much wounded and they ran away from there. As they were running away from there, backside from village, somebody said that, if you don't stop, I don't know what we call it in English, but they said promise of saints. आपको आपके स्वामी जी का सम है, सौगंध है. By listening these words, Meraman and Mamayo, they stopped and they turned back and they decided that let us die for the saints. And afterwards, these two brothers and these 50-60 villagers, they fought together, and ultimately these two brothers died. Meraman and Mamayo fought and died for the saints. Dear devotees, at the same moment, Bhagwan Swaminarayan was seated in Gadpur. Bhagwan Swaminarayan was delivering the spiritual discourses in the assembly. All of a sudden, Bhagwan Swaminarayan started to cry. Both the eyes of Bhagwan Swaminarayan filled with the tears. In the entire life of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, there were very rare moments where Bhagwan Swaminarayan has tears in his eyes. And this was that one of the rarest moments. Bhagwan Swaminarayan's eyes filled with the tears and stopped speaking. In front of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Nityanand Swami, Gopalanand Swami, Muktanand Swami, Brahmanand Swami were seated. Immediately Nityanand Swami stood up and said, Maharaj, what happened? Nityanand Swami took the shawl and started to, sweep the tears of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. After getting little relaxed, Bhagwan Swaminarayan said, dear saints and devotees, today my two devotees, they have sacrificed their life for my saints. They accepted the death for the revenge of my saints. Bhagwan Swaminarayan said, dear saints and devotees, these two devotees will have salvation equal to Muktanand Swami. Bhagwan Swaminarayan bestowed salvation to these two brothers, Meraman and Mamayo, equal to Muktanand Swami. Means whatever Muktanand Swami was the topmost saint of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. That same level of salvation Bhagavan Swaminarayan bestowed to these two brothers. Why? Because they fought and favored the saints of God. This is the second shortcut. When we fight and favor for true saints, it becomes very, fastest path, fastest way to reach God. Now, in our practical life, what can we do? Where can I favor saints? Or where can I favor devotees? Write 3 favors. Right? Let me open the chat box. Yes. How will you favor? Of course, nowadays there is no chance for the fight, right? There is no any fight that you will go with the sword and you will fight and you will get died. No, there is no that chance. But of course, there is a chance for the favor. Of course, there is a chance for the, for example, when somebody is speaking negative about saints, do you simply just listen? Or you tell something, or you do something? Dear devotees, listen carefully. When somebody is speaking something wrong about saints or devotees of God, do you just listen? Or do you do something? Or do you tell something? What do you do? That is also a kind of favor. When somebody is speaking, when somebody speaks something bad or negative about your mother, you remain silent? No, right? You do something. You fight for that. Why? Because she is your mother. In the spiritual path, saints of God are our mother. If somebody is speaking such bad or negative about saints and we are listening with cool ears, that's not favor anyways. Right? Yes, here educate them with the correct information. Whenever we come across saints, let us take their blessing, check their needs, support them in all aspects honestly. Good, sir. Right. Do as their wish. Yes, good. Help by words and guidance about it. Good. Attend satsang and spiritual discourses, participate in temple seva, support charitable activities. Correct, Abhijit. By supporting to saints, fight against the bad attitude, people who criticize saints. Right, sir. Correct. So, dear devotees, supporting saints in the mission of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, even society opposes. Very good, Jagannath, sir. We must explain briefly, saints can tell, I guide them properly, don't give them importance. Right. So, dear devotees, my question, one more question is that how Bhagavan Swaminarayan can give equal salvation to these two brothers? They were not like actually Muktanand Swami, right? What sacrifices, what sadhana Muktanand Swami has done, these two brothers didn't do. Isn't it true? Then why these two, Meraman and Mamayo, they got salvation equal to Muktanand Swami? What is the reason? Reason is intensity, dear devotees. The intensity of these two brothers was so high that within short time, his Vasana got destroyed. His Vasana burned to the ashes. Because his each and every pore of the body was fighting. And fighting is not a, cool activity, isn't it? Is fighting a cool activity? That, okay, now I am feeling, let us fight. With peacefully, we take the sword, like cricket, we fight. Fighting is not a cool activity. It is the extremely aggressive activity. Right? So when somebody fights And these two brothers, they will be, what they will be thinking in their mind when they will be fighting, when they will be, hitting the sword, what they will be thinking in their mind? That I am doing this for my saints, not doing for myself. That intensity of their emotion has burned all their weaknesses and vasana to the ashes. So that intensity is the shortcut, not only fighting. So anyways, this is our second point, that fight in favor for the true saints, right? Now third point, we are moving ahead. Let us listen one more charitra of God. In Panchada, Bhagavan Swaminarayan has played Ras with the saints. Dear devotees, you have heard the divine Leela Charitra of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, that how Bhagavan Krishna has played Ras with the gopis, and Bhagavan Krishna has assumed the forms equal to all the gopis. Similarly, Bhagavan Swaminarayan also assumed so many forms, and with each and every saints, Bhagavan Swaminarayan played the Ras in Panchala in Gujarat. After that Ras, next day Bhagavan Swaminarayan declared that today we will give prasad to each and everybody in the village, and prasad of Shelan. You may not understand this food item. This is Gujarati food item, Shelan. Shelan means it is made of jaggery, ghee and rice. Rice will be boiled in the ghee, and then that will be added with the jaggery. That delicious item is known as Shelan, and that is a famous item in the Gujarat as well. Now I don't know whether it is famous or not, but at that time it was very famous. So Bhagavan Swaminarayan said that today we will give this Shelan prasad to everybody. So all the villagers were called for this prasad, and Bhagavan Swaminarayan distributed all of them. Afterwards, Bhagavan Swaminarayan said, is there anybody missing with this prasad? So Jhinabhai was there, devotee of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, Jhinabhai. Jhinabhai said that, Maharaj, everybody got, but those, some people, those who are the tribal people, who are staying away from the village in the jungle, and they are Dalit people, kind of people, so they are left. Bhagavan Swaminarayan said, no, we want to give this prasad to everybody. We will not discriminate anybody. When sun is arising every day, ever sun does any discrimination? That no, I will give sunlight to only good people. I will not give sunlight to bad people. Does sun ever discriminate? No, right? So I am a sun here, Swaminarayan's son. How can I discriminate people? So call them also. So those tribal people also were called, and Bhagavan Swaminarayan himself served these all tribal people. Dear devotees, this is what the speciality of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, that many, incarnations of God and their charitras we have heard, but such kind of charitras we never heard, that God is serving his devotees. We have heard that devotees are serving to God. They are giving food to God. But have you ever heard that God is giving food to their devotees, to their saints, and serving them? And thousands of people he is serving? How is that possible? Can a person serve the food dish to 1,000 people? He may die, huh? If somebody does like that. And that is not just for the once. For 3 times, for 5 times, Bhagavan Swaminarayan used to serve their saints and devotees. So here Bhagavan Swaminarayan served Shelan to all tribal people. One among them, he captured the murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan within his heart. When Bhagavan Swaminarayan was serving this Shelan to his dish, he was not looking at the food. He was looking at the murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. And he remembered, registered that murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan within his heart. Afterwards, Bhagavan Swaminarayan went off. But the murti of Bhagavan Swaminarayan was fixed in his heart. For the entire life, he used to remember Bhagavan Swaminarayan and this prasad, Shelan. At the end of his life, he asked to his wife that, can you prepare a shallan for me? Then she prepared the shallan. And when he was eating that shallan, he said that, no, this is not that shallan. When Bhagavan Swaminarayan has served that shallan to me, and how was that taste? It was unforgettable. This is not the taste like that of you. So, but when he was remembering this incident about Bhagavan Swaminarayan, at the same moment, he got his death. And dear devotees, it is said in the scripture that ante yamatihi sagatihi. What we remember at the last moment, that will determine our next destination. If we remember God, then we will reach to God. But if we remember other things, other people, then we will miss reaching God. So this tribal person, he remembered Bhagavan Swaminarayan. So Bhagavan Swaminarayan came and Bhagavan Swaminarayan took him to his divine abode, Akshardham. This is also one of the speciality of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. That till now, have you ever heard that other gods are coming to take the devotees, to take their divine abode? No. Bhagavan Swaminarayan is the only God, is the supreme God, that he comes to take his devotees to Akshardham. This is the speciality of Bhagavan Swaminarayan. So third shortcut is remember God at the last moment. Even if you couldn't do anything for the God for the whole life, at least carefully remember God at the last moment. Now many of you may think that this is very good idea. Whole life let us enjoy worldly objects. Isn't it? At last moment we will become devotee. Isn't it? What do you say, Vishal? Last moment we will remember God and we will reach to Akshardham. Till then enjoy? Huh? Isn't it, Harshvardhan? But actually you can't do like that. Huh? Last moment is not normal moment. At that moment you will lose the control over your intelligence. You cannot remember what you want to remember. You will lose your control. And if you have performed devotion for the whole life, only then you can remember God at the last moment. But whole life you have enjoyed, then last moment you will remember all this enjoyment and worldly objects. And those worldly objects will not take you to Akshardham, they will take you to the cycle of birth and death. So the third one is that remember God at the last moment. So to remember God at the last moment, we should remember God now. Every morning we should perform puja of God, right? We should listen satsang of saints. We should read Sikshapatri, Vachnamrut, such kind of scriptures. And with these, we can remain in the connection with the God. Now, I would like to ask this question, that what will I do to remember God at the end? Think yourself. Write 3 preparations. How will you make sure that at the last moment of your life, you will remember God? How will you make sure? This is an interesting question and everybody has to attempt this question. Opening the chat box and let us see. Daily chanting of God name, good. Particularly at the last moment, what kind of preparation you should do? For example, that you will play Swaminarayan Dhun in recording, in speaker. So at least that chanting name will be going on in your mind, right? That is one preparation. Another one is that you will not keep any of your family member nearby you, and they will not ask any worldly matter to you, right? Otherwise, we are at the last moment and we are worrying about our office, our business, our job, our home, our car. Then we will not go to Akshardham. Remember the God, mantra jap, remembering God at all times. Okay, Aviraditya Singh. Panchvartman, right. When we follow Panchvartman, then Bhagavan Swaminarayan is bound to take us to Akshardham. When we are performing devotion of Bhagavan Swaminarayan, and following Panch Vartman of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, then Bhagwan Swaminarayan has given that promise that definitely that is my responsibility. Following Panch Vartman is our responsibility. But at the last moment, taking us to Akshardham, it is Bhagwan Swaminarayan's responsibility. Whenever you are helpless after all your effort, trust and leave it to Bhagwan Swaminarayan. When you're close to God, then only you will come to know it is your last moment. And you can chant Swaminarayan, Swaminarayan. Actually, we can't understand that this is my last moment. Last moment can be any time. Who knows that in this meeting, somebody can go to Akshardham. It is not certain. Death is certain. Timing of the death is not certain. Right? So, yes, we should keep chanting Swaminarayan whenever we are free, whenever we are walking, whenever we feel that now I am free. Chant Swaminarayan, Swami. What is the loss? There is not at all loss. There is always benefit, benefit, benefit. So we should keep chanting Swaminarayan Mahamantra. Anytime anything happens, Bhagwan Swaminarayan will look after us. Right? Always pray God, do good things, always help needy one. Every second pray God, Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Okay, you are writing, big things every second. Of course, that is our ultimate God, that one day we should remember only and only Bhagwan Swaminarayan, nothing else than that. When we reach to that position, then Akshardham is guaranteed. Satsang, Nishkam Seva, devotion throughout the life. Very good, sir. Yes, do devotion every day. Remember the Murti of God and remember the saints. Very good, Harshvardhan. And faith in Him. Daily morning and evening chanting. Remembering the God with every breath taking. Good. Daily chanting of God's name. Time and tide, wait for none. This is philosophy, no? To remember saints. Here we are asking about the answer. And we have good philosophy to share. Anyways, fine. Following the root steps of saints, do seva for true saints. Very good. But in Charitra it is told that true devotees know their death before. Yeah, of course. Jagannath sir, you are right. For true devotees, God gives them sign for the death. Recently, our Lakshminarayan Swamiji went to Divine Abode of Akshardham. So Swamiji also was having a kind of sign that tomorrow Maharaj will come and will take me to Akshardham. Even our Kothari Swami was having this sign in advance. Swamiji also told that now I don't want to go to America. I will be Rajkot because Maharaj is going to come to take me to Akshardham. Likewise, all those who are the real devotees, real saints, they will get that indication from the God or message from the God that I am coming to take you to Akshardham on so and so day or after these many days whatsoever. So of course, that is also correct. If we are true, then God will inform us that yes, like how we are informing to our parents, suppose if we are going outside or coming to home, we inform them, right, that tomorrow I am coming. Similarly, God also informs us that tomorrow I am coming to take you to Akshardham. If we are real devotees, then. Otherwise, God will take like that. So, dear devotees, now let me sum up today's our satsang. So, there are three fastest ways to reach God. Number one is timely seva. You can take action on this first thing. Second one is fight and favor for true saints. Stand with them in difficult times. Help them in difficult times, right? Then third one is memory of God at the last moment. Make sure that you remember God at the last moment. So we pray to Bhagwan Sri Swaminarayan that we all devotees remember Bhagwan Swaminarayan at the last moment and let us all reach to our ultimate destination, Akshardham. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan. Now, if any devotee has any question, you can raise your hand. We can take question. If you have question based on this satsang, you can raise your hand.